जय जय गौर चंद्र जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त बिंदा. So all goes to Gaur Chandra, all goes to Nityananda, all goes to Advaita Acharya, and all goes to all the devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. जय जय शिवासादि गौर भक्तगण शक्ति देह करिये न चैतन्य वर्णनम. All glories to the devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, headed by Srivas Thakur. I beg their power so that I can properly describe Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, with this prayers, we'll start our today's session. So, yesterday, mm, we saw till verse number 104, and we saw how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself uh, came ahead and started the service of Gundicha Majanam. And then he also uh, reciprocated with all the devotees. And then he taught him different ways how to do Gundicha Majanam. And last we were here where we saw that how he sacrificed everything for the service of the Lord. So there we had stopped. Now further we'll see from 105. Satagata jale haila mandira marjana mandira shodhiya kaila yena nijamanam. In this way, all the rooms were cleansed with 100 water pots. After the rooms had been cleansed, the minds of devotees were as clean as the rooms. So the effect of services should be that we are purified. If the effect of service is that we are morose, we lament, or sometimes if there is a reverse thing, then actually the service is not done properly. Because more than the service, the consciousness in what we do services matters. So we may see that big temples are being built, but the journey of the temple is different than the journey of the devotee. So in a plain way, if we see, the temple may be prosperous, but devotees may not be advanced. And another way, the temple may be going down, it may not be prosperous, but devotees may be advanced. So simultaneously, when the temple is growing, the devotees has to grow also, and it is internal growth, it cannot be seen by others. But after some time, we'll come to know whether the devotees are grown or not. So that's for this the effect of service should be. So any service we do, after that it should have a good effect. We should our mind should be clean and we should be relishing that service. Nirmala Shitala Snigdha Karila Mandira Apana Hridaya Ena Dharila Bahire. When the temple was cleansed, it was purified, cool, and pleasing, just as if the Lord's own purified mind had appeared. So, in that purification, when we do services, then gradually Krishna should appear in our heart and not other things. Otherwise, it will be difficult. सत सत जल जन जल भरे सरोवरे घट स्थान नाही केहा कूपे जल भरे. So, since hundreds of men were engaging bringing the water from the lake, there was no place to stand on the banks. Constantly, someone began to draw water from the well. So, in many services, there will be a shortage of resources. There will be shortage of manpower. There will be so many different problems we'll face. At that time, majority of devotees, can they find alternative, or do they fight among each other that I want this resource and please go aside? So if we see this past time, what has happened here is because they're bringing water, like there was no place to stand on the banks because so many devotees were engaged. And what did they do? Someone began to draw water from it. So they found a new way. Let us go to the well and bring water. Similarly, in services, there will always be resource cuts. There will always be crunch of so many things. Maybe the time may not be there. So that time, innovation works. Are we innovative enough to find new ways? Are we innovative enough to give chance to new devotees, new resources can we bring so that the service is being done? Or are we lamenting? So here, if we see, they started to find a new way. let us go to the well. Oh, if it doesn't work, let us go to this person. So, in any consequence, in any service, one may not be expert, one in that service, but one needs to be expert in finding out a devotee who can do the service expertly. If one has that expertise of finding out devotees who can do, that is glorious, and that is the sign of success. That is more than enough. So, because we may now never be able to do all the services, but to find someone who can do the services, that is itself is very good service. पूर्ण को बलैया ऐसे सत भक्त गाना शून्य घट लैया आया आरे सत जाना. Hundreds of devotees brought water in the pots, and hundred took the empty pots away to fill them up again. So again, we need to divide services. Nobody can do all services. Somewhere engage in bringing the water, and somewhere engage in filling the water back. So this is the way things are done. So not everybody will get the desired services, but we will try that we could give the best of all, and somebody needs to do the needful. So this is the need of the institution, and sometimes there are no much choices, but we need to do services as it is been given. नित्यानंद अद्वैत स्वरूप भारती पुरी यहाँ विनु आर सब आन जल भरी. With the exception of Nityan Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Saudamodar, Brahman, Bharati, Param, everyone was engaged in filling the water pots and bringing them here. So participation matters. If more devotees participate in service, then the whole temple is enthusiasm. All devotees are enthusiastic. The temple grows. So therefore, like we see in book distribution, how everybody comes with new ideas. Somebody cooks, somebody distribute books, somebody brings water, and somebody does like coordination thing, and so many things are done. So we see the more the devotees are involved, the more number of devotees involved, the more the results are good, and there's a good coordination all. And the flip side of this is the more devotees are there, there will be more collusion, more problems, and more fights also. So this has to be also dealt. So this will be dealt in the next verse. घटे घटे थे की घट घट भांगी गेला सत सत घट लोक ताहा लई आइला. So many of the water pots were broken when people collided with one another, and hundreds of men had to bring new water pots to fill. So whenever there are more devotees, there will be more enthusiasm. At the same time, there will be conflicts. So the maturity of the leader is not that there is no conflict, but the maturity of devotees or the leader is how he is resolving the conflict. What is the way in which the conflicts are resolved? There is no single institution, no single temple, no single company where there are no conflicts. Conflicts will be there everywhere. But how do we resolve the conflicts? That is important. If we see here, what was happening is the water pots collided with another and they broke. So should now they fight for the broken pots? Should they cry for it? Should they blame each other? Or should bring the new pots? So what they did is they just brought new water pots to fill. That's all. So how do we resolve the differences between devotees? How we resolve the fight between devotees? How we resolve this confusion between devotees? Will tell us how fast we will progress in a devotional service. And the best method is to avoid this kind of fight and find a midway. And there will definitely be some losses. There can never be any time where there will be no conflicts. There will definitely be conflicts. But a mature devotee is one who will find a way between the conflicts also. He will find a way. And he will engage everyone according to his propensity so that things are resolved. Therefore, if we see in the case of Janak Maharaj, there were so many departments. One department was to find out talents in a person and to give service according to the talents which the person has. So this is one of the department to find out the person with talent. And one department on Janak Maharaj was to hear the complaints of the citizens. To constantly that their only job was to hear the complaints. So like this, we also have some devotees who are in conflict resolution. So they are also needed, and we also need to see how devotees can be engaged in their natural propensities. So these are two things which need to be taken care of if one wants to grow the institution. जल भरे घरे धोया करे हरि ध्वनि कृष्ण हरि ध्वनि बिना आर नाही सुनी. Some people were filling the pots and others were washing the rooms, but everyone was engaged in chanting the holy name of Krishna and Hari. So whatever service we do, we saw yesterday also that with whatever service we do, either we do cooking or job in office or computer job or driving or whatever we do, when the job is done with Harinam Kirtan, then we also feel pleasure and the job it becomes successful. Therefore, here also we see everyone was engaged in chanting the holy name of Krishna without an exception. And chanting of holy name can be done by anybody. There are no restrictions in chanting of the holy name. So anybody can chant, and any time one can chant the holy name. There are no restrictions. Like we saw the example how one Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while going to his morning duties or to the call of nature, he was chanting and he was trying to restrict, but his tongue will not stop. And that time we saw how one small boy, Gopal Guru, tells that, why are you stopping? You can chant. And that time also we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, oh, it's right. So one can chant at any point of time, anywhere. The only thing is the mind will not allow much. So need to train the mind that chanting should be done constantly at any time so that we can be cleansed more fastly. And that way, if one is chanting constantly, the chances of offenses are also reduced. So therefore, it helps us in both ways. Krishna Krishna kahi kare ghatera prarthana. Krishna Krishna kari kahi kare ghate samarpana. One person begged for a water by chanting the holy names Krishna Krishna. Another delivered a point while chanting Krishna Krishna. So the Jiva Goswami had written a Vyakaran book where everything was connected to Krishna, every alphabet, everything, how it's connected to Krishna, he wrote. Similarly, uh, just by saying Krishna Krishna, the other person will understand what does the person wants and what how to reciprocate. So this is the highest form of service which can be done. ये कहे से कहे कृष्ण नाम हैला संकेत सब काम. Whenever anyone had to speak, he did so by uttering the holy name of Krishna. Consequently, the holy name of Krishna became an indication for everyone who wants something. So wonderful. This is very wonderful. If we can also have such things that just by chanting Krishna Krishna, one can understand what one wants. And just by chanting Krishna Krishna, one can understand what is to be given. Life will be very peaceful and sweet. And this should be our goal, that whenever we uh, ask something, whenever do something, just by chanting Krishna Krishna, one can understand the things. प्रेमावशे प्रभु कहे कृष्ण कृष्ण नाम एकल प्रेमावशे करे सत जनेरा काम. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was vibrating the holy name of Krishna and ascetic love, he himself was performing the work of hundreds of men. So sometimes uh, some says that when devotees do not work much, or when one is engaged in devotional service, the output of the work is very less. But here, if we see, absorption in holy name does not mean that one is not doing his service properly. Absorption in holy name means that one is performing the works of hundreds of men. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was vibrating the holy name of Krishna and love. At the same time, he was doing his work very nicely. Sometimes we see when some service is given to devotees, they say that my chanting is pending and I will not be able to do service or this service or that service. So here we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is chanting at the same time doing so many services. So that is the gold standard, that if a devotee is a real devotee, then he will also chant the whole night at the same time. He will also perform services. There cannot be any excuse. At the same time, the output will be more because he is in line with the uh, plan of Krishna. And therefore, Krishna will help him to perform so many wonderful tasks. And here we see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is absorbed in the holy name. At the same time, he is performing the work of hundreds of men. Sata Sata haste kare na yena shalana marjana pratijana pashe yai karana sikshanam. It appeared as though Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was cleansing and washing with 100 hands. He approached every devotee just to teach him how to work. So training is an important part of an institution. So his guest Radheshna Prabhu says that till the time one gets retired, one should have at least 3 people who can take over his task. Then he's successful leader. So a leader is one who can create leaders under him. So that is the work. And for that, training is required. And we see here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is training the devotees, he's teaching them how to work. So he's himself doing work. At the same time, he's training others to do work. Similarly, all our services, at certain time, we should think of succession, that how this other devotees can also do what I am doing. So the service doesn't stop. It should not happen that we are the only owners of the service and after us the service will stop totally. It should be delegated in a way, and it should not be done abruptly also. Now from tomorrow, take the services and finish. No. Gradually, in a uh, very phased manner, one should give services. At the same time, the training should also be given. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is doing is approaching devotee and teaching him how to work. So we have seen when devotees are not trained, there are so many cases of problems and mistakes. So prevention is better than cure. So if good training is given, then the chances of problems afterwards will be very less, because any service we give, there will be challenges, there will be problems, and there will be some mistakes or something will be done. So therefore, this is very important that proper training is given. And then 16, Bhala karma dekhi tare kare prasamsana mana nama nila kare pavitra bharsa. When he saw someone doing nicely, the Lord praised him. So appreciation is needed. So and appreciation should be given genuinely, and appreciation should be given in public. There is a general rule that when somebody needs to be chastised, chastisement should be given in private, but appreciation should be given in public. So this is a general rule. Many times, if we don't follow this rule, what happens is the person who is chastised will leave, and the person who is not appreciated will also leave. So both ways we face problem. So therefore, the Lord is giving the example how he is praising devotees who are doing nicely. And if he saw someone was not working to his extent, he immediately chastised the person. But while chastisement also, while doing chastisement, not bearing any grudge. So there should be no grudge. It should be particularly based on the work. Like sometimes we see that we have some rift with other devotees, some problem with other devotees, and we find some chance, and we know that devotee is not um, has no mistake in that, but still, just for taking the revenge of the previous one, what we do is we chastise him. So one can chastise other person only if he doesn't have the grudge mentality or he doesn't have envy or ego. And chastisement should be also done properly. So sometimes we hear the sandwich formula that first some praise should be given, then correction, and again some praise. Then it is effective. And at once only we cannot give all the chastisement. That is also that will not help. So therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also doing same thing. He's chastening the person. So correction can be given by somebody who is superior, who has authority, and the junior will listen to that person. So if the junior doesn't listen, then the chastisement will not help much. So then we have to find someone who can correct him, and that is the way how things can be done. तुम्ही भला करियाचा शिखायान्येरा येई मत bhala karma seyo ye na kare. The Lord would say, you have done well. Please teach this to others so that they may act in the same way. So, whatever we know, whatever learnings we have, we should transfer it to others. So, if we teach others what we know, then we'll not be unnecessarily proud. Otherwise, what happens is when the knowledge stays with us and there are no other people who know, then we become proud that I only have this knowledge or I know these things. And that is not good for devotional service. And therefore, we should teach others. And also, it helps us in the time of difficulty because there may be times when we will not be able to do services. So that time, these devotees can help us to grow further. So therefore, uh, we should always try that we can teach this to others and act in the same way. So this is a responsibility of leaders to train the juniors and teach them how to do things. Otherwise, as an institution, will fail. So some devotees may progress in their life, they may go to back to God, but as an institution, if we see, then if they don't transfer the knowledge to the juniors may not be successful, and the juniors may be the cause of the institution being having bad name or something. So therefore, one of the important part of the leaders is to train the juniors, is to train and create leaders, is to bring out the best in each of the person. And these all are the responsibilities of the leaders. So therefore, any leader has a good responsibility on his shoulder, and it may not be even seen for others. एकथा सुनिया सबे संकुचित हैया भाला मता कर्म करे सब मन दिया. As soon as they heard Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say this, everyone became ashamed. Thus the devotees began to work with great attention. So the effect of appreciation, then the effect of chastisement should be that the devotees are encouraged to work more. And that is the test of whether the chastisement of appreciation is being taken very nicely or not. If after chastisement or appreciation, if the work is doesn't happen nicely, then it has not met its purpose. And therefore, yes, we see the devotee begin to work with great attention, and therefore that should be the effect. तबे प्रक्षालन कैलाशी जग मोहन भोग मंदिरे आय आदि तब कैला प्रक्षालन. They washed the Jagan Mohan area, and then the place where the food was kept, all other places were also washed. So they did a thorough job cleaning every place in every place. नाटशाला धुई धुइला चत्वारा प्रांगण प्रक्षाल पाकशाला आदि करी करीला प्रक्षालन. In this way, the place was washed, and the entire yard, the raising the sitting places, the kitchen and other room, every other. मंदिरे चतुर्दिक प्रक्षालन कैला सब अंतपुर भाला मत धोआइला. So Mandir Chaturdik Prakshalna Kaila Saba Antapura Bhala Matatwal. Thus all places around the temple were thoroughly washed within and without. So everything is to be the property of the Lord. So like we see, His Holiness Radha Maharaj would say that every place in Chowpatty or wherein Govardhan is the property of Lord. So every place for me, altar and this place also same. So this should also be sparkling clean. Not that the temple is clean and the other places are not. So this is a vision of a Mahabhagavat, and therefore all places of temple were thoroughly washed without within and without. Hena kala gaudiya ek subuddhi sarala prabhura charana yuya dila ghata jala. After everything was thoroughly washed, a Vaishnava from Bengal, who was very intelligent and simple, came and poured water on the lotus feet of the Lord. So everything is done, and now the Vaishnava from Bengal comes, and he's very intelligent at the same time, he's very simple, and simplicity attracts Lord. So he came and poured water on lotus feet of the Lord. सी जल लैया अपने पान कैला ताहा देखी प्रभुरा मन दुख रोष हैला. The Gaudiya Vaishnava then took the water and drank it himself. Seeing that, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt a little unhappy and was also outwardly angry. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was angry on the Gaudiya who drank the water himself. So here there may be different aspects. One is that the Gaudiya Vaishnava did not share with others and all things we can see. And he's also chastised. So sometimes the Lord may externally show that he's unhappy, but he may be internally very happy. Just to set proper etiquette, he may chastise others. And this case is here also happening. So we should understand that we should also share mercy with others. यद्यपि गोसाई तारे हैया छे न संतोष धर्म संस्थापना लागी बाहिरे महारोष. Although the Lord was certainly satisfied with him, he became angry externally in order to establish the etiquette of religious principles. So here we see, actually the Lord is internally very happy with him because the devotee did the right thing. But just to establish the etiquette of religious principle, he became externally happy. Sometimes we see devotees also, externally they are very submissive, but internally they are very aggressive. Though as soon as you give some service, they say, yes, yes, I will do it. Definitely I will do it. By tomorrow evening, you will get the service done. And after weeks also, we even cannot find a devotee. So externally, there are marks of submission, and we see that who is properly organized, but internally, very aggressive, very aggressive. Similarly, we see sometimes the Lord here, he's internally very merciful, externally, but he's very angry. So these are the various aspects we see between devotees and between the Lord. And here also, he's saying, शिक्षा लागी स्वरूप दाकी कहिला ताहारे यही देखा तुम्हारा गौड़ियारा व्यवहारे. The Lord then called Savda and told him, just see the behavior of your Bengali Vaishnava. So see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's not rejecting us. So he's giving that Bengal Vaishnava to Sarup Damodar, that see his behavior and you just do the needful. So this is the quality of Lord and this is the quality of devotees. The devotees will never reject any person, any devotee, whatever wrong one does. So if we see here also in temples, we see that sometimes some devotee does some mischief, some wrong thing, somewhere here and there. And the authorities are so merciful, what they will do, they will shift it to another temple. Okay, you have done wrong here, go to this place and do the service. So once there was one devotee did some thievery or something, some small amount. So he was given the service of a shoe stand. He was told that you take the blessings of all the Vaishnavas, go to the shoe stand. So like this, some punishment is given to that devotee to rectify. See, the seniors will never punish a devotee so that his devotional life will be spoiled. They'll always do something so that he is met the punishment and at the same time his devotional life is being maintained, is being protected. That is the first thing a leader looks after. And therefore, if the devotee even breaks a major or does some major blunder, still the leader will try his best. So as far as institution is concerned, he may do some things that the devotee may be restricted, cannot come to temple or something. But on a personal level, we have seen so many times that our seniors have taken good care of the person. And that is what we need to do. So on a personal level, there is no devotee who is clean. ऐसे बोलते हैं हम लोग से कि कोई दूध का धुला नहीं है यहाँ पे. So everybody will have some or the other things. There will be some other things everybody will have. Some problems, some mistake, everybody do. So if we start removing each and every person, there will be no devotee in the temple and there will be no organization also. So therefore, this needs to be done very carefully. So proper punishment has to be given so that the the devotion of the devotee does not stop. At the same time, he gets rectified and his devotion of his increases. So here also, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is trying to and he says, Ishvara mandira mora pada dhoaila se jala apani laya pana kaila. This person from Bengal has washed my feet within the temple of the personality of Godhead. Not only that, but he has drank the water himself. So he did two problems. One is wash the feet, so one should not um, wash the feet from temple or in front of the Lord. Actually, we don't offer any other person obeisances also. Not only that, he has drunk the water himself. And second thing is he drank the water himself. He did not distribute or do something. यही अपराधे मोरा कहाँ है भगति तुम्हारा गौड़ियाए करे ते के फजीती फैजती एक दिन फैजती है. I now do not know what my destination is because of this offense. Indeed, your Bengali Vaishnava has greatly implicated me. So all the devotees, all the Vaishnavas belong to Sarup Damodar Goswami because Chaitanya said, your Bengali Vaishnava, this is you, your Bengali Vaishnava. So see the connection which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established was. So purport, it is significant that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Sarup Damodar Goswami that the Bengali Vaishnava, your Gaudiya Vaishnava. This means that all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas who are the followers of Chaitanya cult are subordinate to Swarup Damodar Goswami. The parampara system is very strictly observed by Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Sri Chaitanya Prabhu's personal secretary was Swarup Damodar Goswami. The next group of devotees were the six Goswamis, then Kaviraj Goswami. It is necessary to observe the parampara system of the Chaitanya cult. There are many offenses one can commit while serving the Lord, and these are described in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Hari Bhakti Vilas in the books. According to the rules and regulations, no one should accept obeisance at the temple of the Lord before a deity. This is considered an offense. So we should not offer obeisance to anybody in front of deities. Actually, this is offense, and therefore, when we offer the obeisance to any Maharaj, also we do it from a side, so that it is not done in front of deity, or we do it in our minds, or by folding our hands. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself was personally the Supreme Personality of God. Therefore, it was not actually offensive to wash his lotus feet in the temple. However, because he was playing the part of an acharya, the Lord considered himself an ordinary human being. He also wanted to give instruction to ordinary human beings. The point is that even though one plays the part of spiritual master, he should not accept obeisance or permit a disciple to wash his feet before a deity. This is a matter of etiquette. So even one should not offer obeisance to spiritual master also in front of deity. So this is an etiquette. And even when we are offering obeisances to other devotees and all, we should keep our tulsi mala aside. Aside, what happens is the tulsi or the mala also is offering obeisances to others. So generally, that should not be done as an etiquette because we give respect to our mala because that is helping us to reach back to God. And tulsi is considered pure devotee of Lord. So it is considered higher than other devotees. So therefore, as a general rule, we should try that we don't offer obeisance to devotees also with the japmala in our hand. Otherwise, it's an offense. And generally we do not follow this etiquette as a general rule. But as far as possible, we should try that we keep our japmala aside and then offer obeisance to devotees. And if you are chanting the holy name and some devotee comes, then we can just offer obeisances in our mind or by just saying Hare Krishna. That is also okay. Uh, that is also okay. So this should be considered. तबे स्वरूप गोसाई तारा घरे हाथ दिया देखे मारी पुरीरा बाहिरे राखिला रैया. At this point, Swarup Damodar Goswami caught the Gaudiya Vaishnava by his neck and gave him a little push, ejected him from the Gundicha Puri temple, and made him stay outside. So here, if we see Swarup Damodar Goswami is taking the Gaudiya Vaishnava and putting him outside the temple. So it may be considered as an punishment, but actually, Swarup Damodar Goswami is actually he's giving mercy to the Gaudiya Vaishnava, because who can catch our neck? One who is our senior or our well-wisher can only do this. So therefore, here also we see that he's putting him outside temple and stay outside. Puna si Prabhu paya karila vinaya agya prada shama karite yuaya. After Samudama Goswami returned to the temple, he requested the Mahaprabhu to excuse the innocent person. See, at one side, so Damodar is Goswami ji is giving punishment to the person, and the other side, if we see his soft-heartedness, he is asking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to excuse the innocent person. So he is asking forgiveness on his behalf. So this is the role of a leader. See, what happens is, suppose there are three layers. So above is our spiritual master, below is the leader, and below M are the all the other workers or other devotees or other anybody, maybe juniors or anybody. So what happens is Maharaj gives order to the leader to do the job, and he in turn gives to the juniors. But we see that the juniors will not do the things, will not do the work, or will not do as satisfactory. And Maharaj or somebody will get upset, and therefore one may chastise the juniors or something, but at the same time, the leader is one who will also protect the juniors from any offenses, aparad, or any punishment also. So he has to do the job of both. That is to take care of the juniors, at the same time represent in such a way that the senior, the Maharaj is not in any way unhappy or he gives some his curse or something. So there one more point comes here is a leader is successful as long as he can work with the inabilities or the incapabilities of the juniors. So I will give you one example. See, suppose if there is some hotel outside and wants to hire a cook, so it can hire any person. It can hire any person, can give any money. But when the scenario comes of ISKCON or as a devotee, what happens is we do not need just a cook. We need that he is following four regular principles. We also need that he is chanting rounds. And there are so many other things which are needed. We need a good character person. Say outside cooking may be maybe a bad character person, we don't mind. But when it comes to devotion service, we'll not eat from the hands of a person who is not following four regular principles, not chanting and everything. And if we want such person will also have some problems, some difficulties, some shortcomings. So unless a leader is not able to work with persons who have shortcomings, who have inabilities, he cannot be successful. And that is the reason why we see in so many places that the work is not done on time or there are some problems here and there. So a good leader is one who can work within the circle of incapabilities of the juniors, and we'll find it everywhere. Nobody can get perfect persons for work. It's not possible. So we have to train them, we have to work with them, help them to actually grow in their own services. And in that, there will be some mistakes. So when a leader chooses some person to do the work, there are two sides. One is the work is done. At the same time, the junior will also do some things which will hurt the institution, hurt the leader's reputation, hurt the people also. This both things will happen. Like suppose we have prasad distribution, and we tell some devotees to do prasad distribution. Somebody is distributing rice, halwa, and all. So he's doing the service, but at the same time, some may be very liberal. So what he will do, instead of one spoon of dal, he will put two, and at the end, nobody will. Some person will not get the dal, and somebody will very confuse. So his hand, he will not move only. He will not give half of spoon. He will give just half of spoon of halwa, and afterwards, what will happen? So much halwa will be left off. So this is because the junior or the teammate also has his own decision, everything, and we have to work with them. We have to train them. Okay, don't give this much. Let us have the spoon which is perfect, and you can give the whole spoon like this only, so there is no problem. Or you can see that with one spoon, if somebody is taking one spoon of rice, so we should get one spoon of dal. Something needs to be done and trained so that the work is done properly. So in Chopper temple, what was happening once? Somebody was serving but was not giving a proper quantity. Why? Because at the end, what will happen? All will take prasadam and he will not get anything. So then, what the policy was made, that before volunteers are serving others, they'll make their own plate so that they're happy and they can serve very nicely. So things like this or adjustment like this needs to be made when we are serving institution, so that the volunteers who are working, they will not be saying, oh, I will not get any prasad or something. So he's happy while giving prasad and say, oh, take more, because he's seeing his plate, he has his own plate. So he's not implicated. So like this, we will see sometimes there'll be shortcomings. Sometimes we may get also some very good juniors or some leaders. It's all case to case basis, but majority of times we have seen that will not get what we want, but will get something from which we have to make out things. That's all. And whatever comes out, and we have to satisfy with it. तबे महाप्रभु रमन संतोष हैला सार करी दुई पासे सबारा वसाइला. After this incident, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very satisfied. He then asked all the devotees to sit down in two lines on both sides. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy. So our goal is also to make our seniors, our Maharaj happy in whatever capacity we can. It's not easy. It's not something that we can do on our own, but whatever we can, however we can, we should try to make them satisfied. Then आपन वसिया माजेया आपना रहते तीन कांकर कुट लागीला कुरैते. The Lord then personally sat down in the middle and picked all kinds of straw, grains of sand and dirty things. So again, Lord is setting his personal example by doing the things. So till the time we don't do things, we cannot expect others to do things. So therefore, the juniors don't do what we say, but they do what we do. So by our actions, by our words, whatever example we set, the juniors will also do the same thing. And therefore, the leaders need to take care of what they are doing, what activities they are doing, or what priorities they are giving in their life. So as leaders, we should always prioritize our sadhana first. Our health should be prioritized. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says first health, then sadhana, and then service. So in this way, if our health is not good, we cannot do sadhana also, and we cannot do service also. And if our sadhana is not good, the service which we'll do will not done properly. We will not have good mentality while doing service. And after some time, the service becomes a burden. And therefore, we should set our personal example that we should complete all our rounds, our 16 prescribed rounds in the morning itself. If possible, before 7. If not, if somebody has like a housework, like cooking and all, at least before 9 or 10, one should complete the 16 rounds in the morning. And similarly, one should try to study every day. If every day is not possible, weekly 1 or 2 hours should be set aside, that this much time at least I will study, and some hearing and some things. And one should try to do whatever work is possible. So sometimes we don't like to read. So we can start giving classes. So that what happens is we'll require to read because we want to speak somewhere. So whatever works for us, somebody will like to give classes, then only one will read. Or sometimes somebody will like only to listen. So whatever works, one should make arrangements for one's own spiritual life, because one's spiritual life is one's own responsibility. We cannot uh, make others responsible for own spiritual life. We cannot tell that because of you, my spiritual life is spoiled or nothing. That is our responsibility. And we see in the case of Prabhupada also, when Prabhupada was there, the institution was going very nicely. There were so many devotees joining. But as soon as Prabhupada went, then after some time, some devotees left and they could not maintain their own sadhana. So that is a not responsible institution. Institution can encourage you, enthuse you, can give inspiration, everything. But one has to take care, one has to take responsibility of one's own sadhana, one's own health, one's own services, and everything. And therefore, we need to prioritize, on our basis, and need to do the needful. And then only we can progress and we can go back to God in this lifetime only. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. I will just pause here.